Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People, here to report on, I believe it's day 7. If I'm wrong, it's right in the title. But day 7, second day in padded practice here in Charlotte. Continuing to be hot, a little bit cooler, but still some really hot conditions, and we got a lot of good stuff to go over today. So as Coach Dave Canales indicated yesterday, today being in pads was going to be a little bit longer practice than it was yesterday. So today's practice was 2 hours. By far the longest of training camp, and it was a very competitive one as well with the pads coming on. So we're going to get into it, get settled, and make sure, hey guys, thank you so much for the growth. We are over 12,000 subscribers. I want to get to 20,000, but yesterday I said, hey, I just need 200 more. So we got to the 12,000. So please, if you enjoy the videos, independent media, the viewership helps us so much with the team and getting access to players and the different things that we do. So if you're kind enough to do so, greatly appreciate it. And also remember, we go live for a reason, to interact with you guys that are watching. I know right now, because it's kind of work hours, it may not be the easiest for you to get into, but I'm trying to schedule them a little bit more in advance now to give you that opportunity to get on. And I'd like to say, man of the people, as in you guys have a friend in the media, which is me. So anytime you have some questions, let me know, right? And we'll get into it. So let's go ahead and get started with some of the things from the day, starting most importantly with latest transactions, which today there are no transactions to report, but we do have some injury updates for you, okay? So the highly competitive wide receiver group had a injury. Hunter Renfrow he didn't practice today. He's been dealing with a tweaked hamstring. Coach said if he had a game this Sunday, he would definitely be a go and could play, but there's not a game. He's a guy coming off a 1-year break. So let's give the guys some rest, especially with this hot weather. We don't need to be dealing with any tweaked hamstrings. It's a long enough season now, 17 games instead of 16. So anyway, again, Hunter Renfrow tweaked his hamstring. He did not practice today. We also had Mike Jackson did not practice today. So yesterday we had JC and Mike. Today JC was back out on the field. We're going to talk about some of the plays that he had today. But Mike Jackson is dealing with a sore toe, so he was not practicing today. And then we have one more guy, Pat Jones, dealing with the upper respiratory situation. Said he was not able to sleep well last night. And just, again, want to be more precautious with these guys than not. This is a very long season. It has not even officially started yet in terms of the regular season. So Pat Jones, dealing with a respiratory situation, was held out of practice today. So we're going to go ahead and get into some things about Dave Canales. He was one of the people that spoke with the media today. We had Dave Canales, Taylor Moton, and Damani Richardson. So from Dave's time with the media, I want to take out this one part. And, you know, I don't hide it. I'm a fan of Dave Canales, not knowing him the next great coach of the Carolina Panthers, but I really like his personality. I like the way he leads his team very well. And I feel like it could be something that is sustainable for him to be our coach for a number of years and not have turnover like we've been having with our head coaches. So I want to play a clip today in which he talked about how he's treating his locker room and how he encourages guys to be themselves. So give me just a moment to cue this up. I'm going to share this with you guys.
That fire you up as well?
Absolutely. I love it. And because, you know, my thing to them is, guys, you got the green light to show us who you are. I'm giving you permission to make this team be what it's going to be, and particularly for each individual, show us who you are.
All right, so we're gonna try this one more time. I'm having to play the video in a different way, so sorry if you're hearing some talk over. We're going to try this one more time, and I'll explain the situation that we're dealing with right now. Let's see. Now I can't find the daggone video. All right. All right. So let me explain why things seem a little unorganized, and then I'm going to play it again one more time. So one of the things that has been discovered is when I'm downloading certain video, when I'm at the stadium, which you see I am clearly at the stadium, I can't directly get the video. So I then have to play it on YouTube for you guys to see it. That's a little bit of a different click for me to do. So sometimes I want to make sure it's showing right, and that's why we're going to play it again, live video. This is what you have happen. But We're going to go ahead and play it back. And again, this is Dave Canales talking about the culture that he's building here for the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to play him. Give me just a second.
Bring a certain edge to the group. Does that fire you up as well?
Absolutely. I love it. And because, my thing to them is, guys, you got the green light to show us who you are. I'm giving you permission to make this team be what it's going to be. And particularly for each individual, show us who you are. Bring all of you, and if something's a little bit out of sorts, I'll approach it. I'll talk to guys about it. I thought there's 2 plays. JC made a beautiful interception today. Then he punted the ball. Okay. We can't do that, So then what happens? JT catches a great pass and spins it in front of the defense. These are penalties. We want to be a smart football team. We can't have those things. Guys, let a dominant play be dominant. Let it speak for itself. It does. And so I address those things, but I also kind of like it. I like the edge. I like the back and forth, but we got to be smart.
All right, so there we were able to play it successfully. Thank you all for your patience with that. I don't know about you, and I certainly want to hear your comments. So leave your comments about what Dave Canales just said. I love his comments. I love it. With Matt Rule, when he came here and when he left, there was some talk about how he didn't treat the guys always, as grown men, as they should be treated. And so what I love right there about Dave Canales is, if you want to get really big picture right, America's a melting pot. A football room is a melting pot as well. You got guys with so many different personalities, whether they're very vocal, whether they're very humble. But it's important when people can be free to be themselves, right? And that's basically what he's saying to every guy. It's like, hey, be who you are. And, that's good coaching because it's also psychological, knowing that you're going to get your best out of players, number one, when they feel like they can be who they are, right? And also Dave knows that he can get a lot out of his players by having relationships with his players. So he's very intentional about having good relationships and getting to know all of his players so that he can push them. So, there's X's and O's that's certainly a part of it, which I feel like he's doing good at it. This team, once Bryce got with it last season, we were able to put together some victories and we're able to get 2 very close games against the Chiefs and the Eagles in which they didn't win, but it was, they were in that game to the very end. So I like him. There you go. Let me know what you think about that clip right there of him and his mentality. And then I want to go ahead and play one more clip for you all, and then I'm going to go to the play-by-play breakdown that I'm able to log for you. And that is Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton's been a staple in that offensive line for, a number of years. He's in a contract year. Will he get a new contract? Will he not? But today he spoke with the media talking about his time here in Carolina and how it's such a special place for him. And I think this is a must view right here from Taylor Moton. So again, give me a second to mute myself, go over to the other screen, play this through YouTube, but I think you're going to enjoy it.
I try not to think about it. I've had some of my best years here in Carolina. I know we haven't won, but the city, being a Panther means a lot to me. So it's crazy. You don't know. Obviously, I don't want the years to continue, but if it's my last year here, I want it to be my best year. I want it to be the offensive line's best year, the offensive unit's best year, the team's best year. Do whatever I can to help us be our best yet. So I'm a little emotional about it. No. All the blood, all the sweat, all the tears, right? I've been through so much here. Being a Panther means a lot to me. The city means a lot to me. I found my family here. I found my son here, So much sacrifice has gone out on that football field, the practice field, here at Bank of America Stadium. I put so much time, so much heart into it, right? So it's just crazy, But at the end of the day, just focus on finishing this out the right way. If it is, You know, obviously, like I said, I have some good years left, but I have a deep passion for this city, for this organization, for all the guys in the locker room, all the staff, everyone involved in, you know, making this thing go. So.
All right, and there you have it. Like I said, to me, that was a must play, a must listen. Rewind it if you didn't catch it. You know, I used to do these shows where I called them Behind the Helmet, and I would make a point to talk with players and wouldn't talk X's and O's the entire time, but actually even play a game with them at the end of those interviews. And Taylor Moton was one of those guys that participated in those interviews with me several years ago, and it was pretty fun. And you know, I enjoy being able to share with you guys when there's an opportunity to see these guys as players, because they will struggle, they will have injuries, they will have bad games, and sometimes it's like when you know the player behind the helmet, you kind of get a little bit of like, oh man, darn it, hope they get it together, versus having a different opinion other way, just looking at them as a number. But nevertheless, that was an important piece I wanted to share with you from Taylor Moton. Hopefully he will get his opportunity to get back, but you know, it's a business. They got numbers they got to meet. So let me give a few shout outs before I get into now the lengthier, but you guys love it, so I love to do it for you, play-by-play breakdown from today. Got to give a big shout out to Knucklehead K, one of our proud members of this channel and supporter of the channel. If you would like to be a member, there's a link in the description. But as you hear, there's always some special love that we give to the members and the channel. And I always make sure that I answer every member's question. So that is one of the perks if you wish to become a member. And we're independent media, supported by you guys 100%. So anytime you have a chance to be a member, do a super chat to help us continue to grow and do what we do. I'd appreciate it very much. But what's up to you, Knucklehead K? Appreciate you tuning in. Tony P, Roadmaster, Deshaun J, Frank Horton, Chucktown Panther. Lots of people in here this afternoon. I appreciate it very, very much. So we're going to go ahead and get into this play-by-play for you guys today. And there's a few inconsistencies that I may have had today. So I like to say when I go over this is today is probably about 80% accurate on some things that I wasn't sure about, which was a few times I forgot to indicate to myself who the quarterback was. So, but I still feel like it's worth putting those plays out there because camp is closed to fans and you guys want to have an idea of what's been going on. And then at the end, I'm going to circle back and let you know my big summary breakdown from the plays. So let's go first with the team period. Always Marco's Cash. First play, Bryce was in the shotgun, had a handoff to Rico Dowdle. Bryce Young then had a handoff to Trevor Etienne. Bryce was then in the shotgun, had an incomplete pass in which he threw it away. So I'm just going to go ahead and tip my hat a little bit. Defense still has some big moments that are prevailing right now, which you can't be mad at it, right? Because you know that defense last year, we needed some help, but nevertheless. Bryce Young then dumps it to Rico Dowdle. And I want to point out as well that though they were in full pass today and it was competitive, to me there was a difference between there was one period where it felt like it was really physical, and then there was, to me, several other periods where, you know, these guys, you want them to protect each other, but to me it was a little more just, let's go through it. We got on pads. We can thud at the end of a contact, but we're really not going to go too hard. And it sounds like Coach Canales, honestly, is saving some really good contact for you guys on FanFest this Saturday. So if you had the ability to attend FanFest this Saturday, they will be in full pads, and they will have a lot of different things that they're going to do that maybe they haven't done yet. So good hat tip to Coach Canales there for saving something for the fans this Saturday. So again, FanFest will be in pads. Bryce Young with a handoff to Trevor Etienne. Andy Dalton comes in with a handoff to Raheem Blackshear. Andy Dalton in the shotgun, hands off to Imani Bailey. Jared Harrison Hunter lost his helmet on the play, which I thought was worth noting and interesting. Then Andy's would have been sacked, but he ended up just running around. So that's what I mean by the defense. There were several plays today where and I'm going to go through them, where you're going to see that the quarterback either ran around or had to throw the ball away. And, so you give credit to the defense when that happens. Andy Dalton with a handoff to Raheem Blackshear. Andy in the shotgun, completed to Adam Thielen. And then in the shotgun, handoff to Karan Lynch-Adams. He had nowhere to go. Then we went to 7-on-7. Bryce Young hit Jatavian Sanders. And I'm going to just play my little sound effect here, because Jatavian Sanders had a bounce back day. Yesterday, he didn't have one of his best days. I think, I'm not 100% because things are running together. Well, look, when you're out here, I don't know how these players do it. Well, I guess maybe I do know. They're elite athletes. They're part of the 1%ers, and they train all year for this. But being out there kind of wears you down in the heat. Today's practice was, again, 2 hours long. But Jatavian Sanders with a bounce back day with the completion. But Bryce Young almost intercepted by Shaw Smith-Wade on a play that was a pass that was intended for Xavier Legette. Very good play by Shaw Smith on that one. He's been a guy that, I've been hearing about, I've been watching, and I would say at this point, yeah, look for a jump from both Shaw Smith-Wade, the late round pick from 2024, as well as the undrafted free agent Damani Richardson. I don't think I have him with any particular plays today, but he's been having a pretty good improvement from that year 1 to year 2. And it's, it's seemingly that you're hearing it a lot right now. These guys that are on this team, they're picking, they look at DNA, guys that love ball. I remember Dan Morgan saying that, the guys that love ball and dogs. And you can tell, because the guys that love ball, when they get a chance to go into their second year and they got the confidence and they know what they're doing, they can move quicker. That's when you're going to see that big jump, right? And we got guys that really looks like they're going to make that big jump between their rookie year and their sophomore year. Bryce Young completed a pass to James Mitchell, defended by J.C. Horn. Bryce Young had a pass that was intended for Jatavian Sanders. But this play, I think it might have been a Jatavian Sanders, but there was certainly a miscommunication, because it was a play in which Bryce threw the ball and Jatavian was not even looking. As Bryce threw the ball, actually that was a breaking point in the route for Sanders, at least the route that he was running, and so therefore miscommunication on somebody's part, but certainly an incompletion that took place for the Carolina Panthers on that play. Andy Dalton comes in, completes to Rico Dowdle. Andy Dalton then with a completion to David Moore, who was defended by Caleb Evans. Dalton with a quick pass to Bryce Pierre. In my opinion, Andy seems to be taking things safe. Now, he's working with the second and third team, right? So I noticed yesterday he had to spend more time getting guys lined up, much more than Bryce Young. Bryce you'll see calling audibles, but Andy you see spending most of his time getting guys lined up in the proper place. So maybe because of that, he also knows that he doesn't have a lot of time, and he's going to his safe guys, checking down, making completions. All right, Bryce Young is back in. Completion to Xavier Legette. Bryce Young with a completion to Raheem Blackshear. Bryce Young with a nice route to Xavier Legette, streaking down the sideline. So this play stood out to me because as Xavier's going down the sideline, he's certainly wide open, but there's a lot of traffic in between Bryce and Xavier, and he throws his ball perfectly where Corey Thornton had position, jumps up for it. He's probably about 4 or 5 yards inside of Xavier, but he doesn't jump high enough. The ball's just a little bit out of reach. Xavier then has to jump up, fully extend, catches the ball, and nice completion. So you could say, well, darn, he didn't catch him on the go. Yeah, he didn't catch him on the go, but he did put the ball in the place where only Xavier can get it, and Corey could not. So good play, very good play by Bryce, completing that to Xavier. Andy Dalton back in with a quick pass, short pass to Jatavian Sanders, and then Dalton with a completion to Jimmy Horn Jr. Definitely ran a nice route, Jimmy Horn, on this route. I don't know if I can demonstrate well, but he stuck that leg out pretty well, so he's choppy. Then he goes a big step like this, cuts to the outside technically, and was able to make that reception. So that was Jimmy Horn Jr. showing off his quickness. And then we went into practice punt situation. So this was part of the extended time that was used today, was working on special teams. And they were particular in just focusing on the gunners. And the guys getting free, man. Darren Bates, if you haven't watched him coaching these special teams, this guy is excited. He's loud, he's vocal, but he's also very supportive of his guys. So it's great to see him working with these guys and teaching them about the techniques that they need to do in order to make this special teams good. So it's all about the details, right? You could not spend this time. Man, I felt like it was a good 10 minutes, and they were just specifically working on those gunners with the full padded contacts. But those are details that if you get a guy that's able to do really good and get down there, hit a return guy as soon as he gets the ball, pops it out, that's what you need, right? So they worked on that detail today in special teams, and then they went back to the team environment, all right? So we got 2 more team periods that we're going to go through. Actually, looks like 3 more. Shotgun, Bryce, handoff to Rico Dowdle. Sorry about that. And then Bryce in the shotgun, intercepted by J.C. Horn. So Bryce has had, I would say, a fair amount of interceptions during training camp, but he did last year as well. Started off pretty bad last year and got benched and came back. All that I say, I'm quite sure that Dave Canales is okay with these mistakes right now, with these interceptions, because it's training camp and it's just practice, and has full confidence that Bryce knows to maybe not try to push it in the games. Right now, he's got some new tools that he's getting used to, right? So why not? This is the time to go ahead and push it a little bit and see what you can, see what kind of report that you get with your receivers. But he did have the interception today. Bryce Young in the shotgun, complete to Adam Thielen. Andy Dalton complete to Jalen Coker. Nice contested catch by Jalen Coker on this particular play. I know some people have wondered, will Jalen Coker make it? Will he not? It's a very competitive room. He's looked good. He's looked good. Again, you can't throw the ball to every guy on every play. So different guys have opportunities to shine on different days. Hunter Renfrow was not out there today, so that certainly gives other guys an opportunity. But this was a nice catch, almost kind of like a head-top catch. Goes over the guy, picks the ball off right in front of him, and makes the completion. So Jalen Coker with a nice catch that I wanted to make sure I pointed out and gave some more details to you all about. Andy Dalton with a handoff to Imani Bailey, immediately wrapped up. And then shotgun Bryce on a nice fade to Teteroa McMillan. And when I say nice, this was one of those, he's fully confident in Teteroa when he makes this throw, right? And what makes me say that, because he doesn't drop back, take a second to make sure or to see. He just drops back, instantly puts some air under the ball, throws it deep to Teteroa. Teteroa makes a completion. Yes, that is something to be optimistic about. And this team being able to have that big guy, that big body, guy can move pretty well, good hands, and Teteroa making the catch. He was defended by Corey Thornton on that play. Young then had 2 plays in a row where he would have been sacked. So, I don't know to put this on Bryce or to put it on defense for a coverage sack or to put it on the offensive line, just because of my vantage point. So for now, I'm going to default to the quarterback gets the good, the quarterback gets the bad. So I'm going to put it on Bryce. But he did have 2 plays in a row where should this have been a real game, might have been down in the dirt by the defenders. And then we had a nice effort by Jimmy Horn Jr. on another play here. I don't know the full route where he was coming from, but at the point that I saw the ball, he was coming across the middle. And, man, he laid out for it. It would have been beautiful if he had made the catch, but I got to give him an A for effort because he did lay out for it, got it on his fingertips, was not able to bring it in. Not his fault, but something that was a really nice play to watch. Then came in the kicking. Didn't have a great kicking day today from Ryan Fitzgerald, as he was 2 of 5 on the small goal post. Again, 2 of 5 on the small goal post. But you could also say this. They're the small goal posts, right? They're not the regulation size goal posts. So you got to keep that in mind. So got one more. Oh, no, we got 2 more to go through. So, hey, continue to I see the comments are coming. I appreciate that. Super chats are welcome if you have the ability to do so to help support this channel and keep us going. We're able to do this. So we're back to team drills. Bryce Young with a handoff to Chuba. Things were now getting more physical during this period, at least according to my notes. Bryce Young with a completion to Teteroa McMillan. Worked back to the ball and made a nice catch defended by Corey Thornton. So Bryce Young and Teteroa certainly get some good reps in. And Bryce again to Tetaroa on the next play, defended by Corey Thornton. Bryce then with a little jet sweep kind of action to Adam Thielen. And, I guess you just want to try some things. I really don't think that jet sweeps are Adam Thielen's things, but nevertheless, it was a play that took place today. Andy Dalton with a completion to Dominique Daphne. Andy has some good play fakes. By the way. Shotgun, Andy Dalton. Handoff to Monty Bailey. Andy Dalton to Kobe Hudson. Would have been a TD according to my notes. Chuba with a run. Nice explosion on the run. Had some space there to run in. Evero. My man Evero was not happy with the defense at one point today. Was very vocal with those guys on a couple of occasions. And I think that's worth noting that this guy, Evero, he knows that last year wasn't the best for his defense. Now they're not wanting to sit and constantly reflect on what happened last year. I think that's an unspoken thing that this team is in accord on, at least on the defensive side. Like, you know what, last year was done. We're not going to speak on the details of it, but we know that we didn't like it and that we want to be better. So looks like your your defensive coordinator definitely has a bad taste in his mouth from last year. Feels like he has some better tools and does not want that to be repeated this year coming up. Shotgun, Jatavian Sanders, defended by J.C. Horn. Very physical play by these two. Very physical play. But Jatavian is still just a little bit bigger than J.C. Horn, and he was able to make the catch. And J.C. Horn didn't like it, but you win some, you lose some. I guess is kind of what J.C. felt about that one. But it was definitely a play where you could see the competitive nature of both of these players and the fact that they're in pads coming out. Young with an intended pass to Xavier Legette, and guess who broke it up with nearly an interception? Yeah, one of those guys that I said makes a big jump from their first year to their second year. Sophomore Shaw Smith-Wade broke the pass up, really nearly intercepted. So he had two near interceptions today, and he's certainly becoming a more vocal, almost making me think about Dante Jackson, right? What he was like on this team, just from his stature, his activeness, and how much more vocal he's becoming. But shouts out to Shaw Smith for some good play today. Young to TJ Luther. And then in a shotgun, lots of times the throw would have been sacked had it been a real game, but threw it to Jalen Coker, and he was in the back of the end zone. Jalen Coker was running around the back, threw it too high, would not have caught it. But let's go ahead and go down to this last one, which is another play which the quarterback would have been sacked, but then another play in which Tetaroa McMillan makes a nice catch, defended by J.C. Horn. Now this one I'll kind of, again, since I'm on video, give you guys a little bit of description. So they're being handy. So they're doing this, pushing off one another back and forth. And Tetaroa, I don't know if it would have been a flag, but he certainly made the last push off in time and was able to separate, use the hands, make the catch over J.C. Horn. Let's see, a reception by Thielen. And then a little quarterback run by Bryce as they were down in the red zone. Forgot to write the guy's name down, but 21 came in, and he popped. He had a really good thud on Bryce. So you heard some guys kind of say, whoa. So that was funny. Now, he didn't nail him, but he certainly gave our quarterback a nice little thud there. Bryce with a handoff to Chuba, and after Chuba scores, he punts the ball. So that's some of the things that Coach Canales talked about. He likes these guys to continue to be themselves, play hard, but let the play speak for itself. Don't do anything dumb. Obviously, you can't punt the ball after you make a TD. That would have been a penalty. Shotgun. I can't clearly read my notes on that one, so skip that play. Andy Dalton with an incomplete pass. Bryce with a handoff to Chuba. Bryce with a completion to Chuba. Bryce with a completion to Ricky Dowdle. No, I'm sorry. Bryce with a handoff to Ricky Dowdle. Immediately tackled And when I say immediately, like immediately tackled by Bobby Brown III. So good to see him being active. He's recently returned to the field. He was previously inactive. So good to see Bobby Brown in there doing his thing in the middle for that defense. So, hey, optimism, reason to be optimistic. All right, let's keep going through this list. Tetaroa nearly had a very pretty one-handed grab going across the middle. Was not quite able to hold on to it, though. Andy Dalton hitting with a handoff to Trevor Etienne. Nowhere to go. Dalton with an incompletion to Coker, then came right back and was able to get Coker. The incompletion was, I don't have my notes of whether it was bad ball or just a drop ball. I would say it was probably a bad ball or well contested because I didn't write any notes that it was Jalen's fault on that one. Handoff to Trevor Etienne. Another pass complete to Jalen Coker. So, again, different guys will have different opportunities. Today, Jalen Coker certainly had a number of opportunities. Andy Dalton with a handoff to Raheem Blackshear. Nice hole for Raheem. Will Raheem Blackshear make this team? I don't know. You got Rico. You got Trevor Etienne that has been looking pretty solid. You know, it kind of depends on who's able to do that special teams duty. If Jimmy Horn Jr. is able to come in there and fill in that hole, you know, Raheem Blackshear could be on the outside looking in. I don't know. We'll see. Shotgun Andy Dalton to David Moore. David Moore with a drop. So I think David Moore had 2 drops there. I think he had that drop there in the team period. And then I strongly believe today, go back to my highlights video. So I have a highlight video that I put out after practice, which has all the plays that we're able to record and share with you all. I feel like 80% sure that David Moore had a drop in that drill today. So not a good thing when you have a deep wide receiver room when you're having some drops like that. But last play was Andy Dalton in the shotgun with a completion to Raheem Blackshear. So there you go. Hope you guys are enjoying these notes. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. Help us get to 20,000 subscribers. We will start our annual tradition of our rookies interviews next week. So be on the lookout for that. And again, I welcome you all to leave your comments for any questions that you want me to ask those rookies next week. And I will consider that and ask for them. So here are my takeaways. Bryce Young, again, I'm going to give him, because I can't see the whole field, I'm going to give him credit when he makes a completion or a touchdown, but I'm also going to give him credit, if that's the proper thing to say, when there's a sack or an interception. And so for that reason, I'm going to say Bryce, again, up and down today with being pressured, with having to throw the ball away with the interception. But he also had some good things that took place with, like the pass to Xavier Legette when he put it right in the best spot for Xavier to get over. When he had the nice fade route, if you will, that he threw to Tetaroa. So some good. Andy Dalton leaned on his quick check downs today. Again, could be a product of having second and third team guys that he's with, but he was effective, very effective with that method today. And then Tetaroa, McMillan, T-Mac continues to show some upside, continues to show a lot of upside with his deep ball catches, with his mid-route adjustments to come back to the ball and make the catch, with becoming more physical, playing against J.C. Horn and making some catches. Didn't make them all, but did some things. So you're definitely seeing a guy like T-Mac get development and work on his craft, seeing him develop as training camp progresses. Defense today. Defense definitely made some noise today with an interception. Shaw Smith-Wade making several near interceptions. And some several good run stops. Again, I made a note earlier about Bobby Brown, who's back just this week, making near as immediate tackle as can be. Running backs today had some frequent rotation. So we saw a lot of rotation today from our running backs between Chuba, Trevor, and Raheem Blackshear, as well as Rico Dowdle. Raheem got some, but Trevor, Chuba, and Rico heavily rotated today. And then just a general tone of practice, definitely most competitive practice of training camp. definitely the longest practice of training camp, so you'll see that. And it was a padded practice. So, padded practices certainly bring out that competitive edge in all these guys. And then a little hat tip to Jatavian Sanders for his bounce back day with, several completions today, including one very physical completion against none other than our parental cornerback, J.C. Horn. So that's going to be your update for today. Hope you guys are enjoying this content. Please continue to leave your feedback. I like to be the man of the people working for you, so things that you want to hear, want to see. Don't know if I can give them all, but you guys are certainly welcome to let me know what those are so I can do my best to get those to you. And also continue to help spread the word. I really sincerely mean it. Hope you guys will help me do that. 20,000 is the goal this year. We travel to every single game trying to show you guys that we're committed to this team, whether they're doing good, whether they're doing bad. We want to be your number one source. We want to work hard for it. Hopefully we're earning it. Thank you so much for tuning in and your support. Chris Jenkins reporting live from Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte Vibe.